Tell me, doctor, about Naim Khouri.
Naim was my best teacher that I ever had when I was in elementary school. He taught me Arabic, and in the summertime, every day I would spend an hour with him teaching me the Arabic language. And every time I would come to visit with him, he would say, raise your hand and say, long live Syria. And I raised my hand, I said, long live Lebanon.
And tell me about your friend, Mr. Pita Anderi, the late Pita Anderi.
Oh, Peter Anderi.
He's my best friend too.
Peter Anderi is not only a friend of mine.
He wrote a book about
part
you.
of mine.
He wrote a book about you.
He is a part of my world, part of me. And when he died, I felt that a part of me has died with him. Peter Anderi was one of the very closest and dearest people to me.
He used
and
to
when
like
he wrote a book about me, he wrote that book with a lot of love.
Doctor, this is the second time you came to Australia?
Third time.
The third time. Tell me about the first time you received Gibran Awards, when you came the first
That was the year 2000.
Yeah, you received Gibran Awards. How did you feel about it when you get Gibran Awards between your hands?
I feel Gibran and we have a lot in common. First, we are both short, very short people. Two, both we lived half of our life in Lebanon, half of our life in America. We share more or less the same vision, but he came from the abstract thinking angle, while I come from medicine and from medical research. And the fourth thing that brings us together is our love to Lebanon.
I want to tell you, your friend Pita Anderi, used to send me article written by Arabic by you. Do you write Arabic?
Sure.
You write Arabic too. And do you still write it? Did you write books in Arabic?
Yes.
Tell me about Tehran. Do you visit Tehran?
Tehran to me is like Greenwich to time. So it's the center of my world, because this is where I was born, I was raised, this is where my father and mother rest in eternity, this is where my childhood was. Everything dear to me started there. So to me it is the center of my world.
Doctor, as a specialist in cancer, I read on the news that they will treat the cancer like they treat the flu. Is that true?
That's not true.
It's not true. But they said it. They said it last 2 days that they will.
Not everything is said is true. Most of what's said is not true.
What do you think? Is there any cure for the cancer these days? I heard that people doesn't want to make a treatment. Is that some people refuse to make a treatment? They have cancer. What do you say about this? Because a lot of them, they're gonna hear
the right of the patient to choose whether he or she wants to be treated or not. But if the patient has a good doctor, the good doctor will convince the patient to receive a treatment.
What about if the patient refuses?
I've never seen yet a patient to refuse.
Yes, we know some patients refuse. We know one right now.
Not me, not with me.
That's why we wanted to talk to him one day. Doctor, you came 3 times to Australia. What do you think about Australia?
Oh, I love Australia.
Is it better than United States? Be honest.
Well,
there is. Look, Alan Cadman is here. Can hear you.
different cultures, different countries have different things.
And the Lebanese people.
The Lebanese people should be extremely grateful to Australia. Australia has been very generous, very courteous, very hospitable to the Lebanese. And I cannot thank Australia enough for that. You know, my mother had 2 sisters and 7 brothers. They all immigrated to Australia.
You have family here?
Sure.
Of course.
My cousin is Sam Malik, the so-called the Debaki of Australia. He's a heart surgeon. And Sam Malik, he is the son of my uncle Ibrahim, who is married to the sister of Charles Malik,
Doctor?
the one who wrote the declaration.
Doctor, you are from Tehran, and we all hear that the Tehran people like to play with the snakes. Did you play with the snakes?
There was one man in Tehran
Only
who
one?
loved the snakes.
Exactly. But you never
And
touched
he's
the
my
snake.
neighbor.
But did you touch any snake? No. Doctor, thank you for this interview. Thank you very much.
I cannot express in words my pleasure and my deep appreciation to be here, and how thankful I am to Eve and Layla to arrange for such a beautiful gathering. And on behalf of my wife, Waded, who has been my wife for 40 years, I've never done anything alone. Without her, I would not have been here. We have done everything together. I owe her a great deal. Also on behalf of Asad, because I have confiscated Asad to the Salem family. The Huris are mad at me because I did that, but I did that anyway. And Asad is not only my friend, but I also see in him Butrus. He is the biggest thing I inherited from Butrus. And I must tell you that I'm here first to pay my respects to Butrus. I insisted since he died, and I always prayed and hoped that I will stay healthy and well to be able to come to Sydney and pay my respect to a man I loved a great deal. And as I always say, we will never let Butrus die. We will continue to love him, as love can even crush death. Love is probably the greatest force in the world. Many people had asked me this question, and they expected me to say, because I'm a student of science, people expected me to say that knowledge is the greatest force. But I have learned from my experience and my life with conservations that love, not knowledge, is the greatest force and the greatest access. The greatest access is the combination of love and knowledge. I also want to extend my thanks and appreciation on behalf of all the Lebanese to this great country
called Australia. This is a very, very special day for me. I started my day with a woman whom I love beyond any measure, Mary Bashir. She is the governor of New South Wales. She is a relative of mine, and she is physically a replica of my mother. I share a lot with her. We share the family. We share our love to Lebanon, our admiration for knowledge. But greater than that, we both admire service to our fellow men. Many people spoke about giving. Gibran did. But there is a level of giving. You can give of your money. You can give of yourself. But I thank the Lord that gave me the opportunity to experience a giving of boundless dimensions, and that's to give life. I've seen thousands of cancer patients struggling to survive, to recapture their lives. And how happy, I say, not only proud, but how happy I was that I was able in some of them to indeed give them back their lives. There's nothing more joyful than the ability to give life. But you cannot give life only with knowledge. My coming book, it's the only book that I have myself written, is entitled Knowledge Alone is Not Enough. In medicine, and specifically in cancer medicine, knowledge alone is not sufficient to cure the patient. Knowledge has to be coupled with love, with compassion, with embracing the other, embracing the patient, pumping him with hope. And I'm so fortunate that I come from Lebanon, from a culture that believes in the power of love, of compassion, of giving, of hugging, embracing with love. I've come to tell you that you should be proud to be the children of Lebanon. This is a great country and a great culture. As I said in many speeches and many articles, Lebanon as a political entity is not important, but Lebanon as a cultural identity, as a model for the world, is what is important. Lebanon is the model of how people of different religions could live together. But you may question, how come they are at war? I tell you, because religion, it was not religion, it was the use of religion as a political tool. Lebanon is a model of multiculturalism. It is the microcosm of the whole world. This is where the East meets the West. This is where Christianity embraces Islam. This is where Arab culture embraces Western culture. The problem of Lebanon is not a question of religious intolerance as the world understands. Unfortunately, the problem of Lebanon is the lack of political leadership. Lebanon, to be born, my brother Anwar, needs a Mandela, a new leader, a leader who embraces all the Lebanese, a man with a vision, a man who can bring all the Lebanese together with love and a vision for the future. A Lebanon who does not distinguish between a Christian and a Muslim, between the city and the village, between the north and the south. We need a Nelson Mandela. And I want to remind you that you are the children of a great culture, a culture of great pride, never seen ever in the history of man. Can you imagine this little country which has been at war for 40 years? 40 years of war. There isn't a single refugee living in a tent. 40 years of war, there's no single Lebanese who's living in a tent and asking for aid from the United Nations. 2 years of war in Syria, there are 4 million refugees. In Palestine, a few hours after the war broke out in Palestine, there were refugees in Jordan and Lebanon. There isn't a single Lebanese refugee, neither in Lebanon nor outside. There isn't a single Lebanese beggar anywhere in the world. When the Lebanese went to other countries, they didn't go as beggars or refugees. They went to work. They went to share in the making of other nations, as you here had shared in the making of Australia. This is our Lebanon. This is the Lebanon we love. And do not forget that the first who spoke about love and about humanity at large and globalization was a Lebanese. It was Gibran who defined the concept of love. And it was Gibran who addressed not only the Lebanese, but the whole world. Gibran said something which is beautiful. He said, if I were not a Lebanese, if Lebanon were not my country, I would have made it my own country. I always think of this statement, and I tell you very frankly, if I were not a Lebanese, I do not know who I am. I want to thank Eve and Layla again. I want to thank you all, and I hope that Wadid and I will be able to come in the future many more times and see you here. It has been wonderful. It is an experience that I will never forget, moments that I will cherish forever. Thank you.